Soulful Conversations with Bitika Anand, exploring the person behind the lawyer. Soulful Conversations with Bitika Anand and Atul Sharma, Managing Partner, Link Legal.
Welcome to Soulful Conversations with Bitika Anand, a first of its kind initiative that is personally close to me and something that has been on my wish list for a very long time. When I started discussing about this with my colleagues in the legal sector, I was overwhelmed to see that they actually everyone welcomed it with their open arms, and in fact the invites were answered within a few minutes of sending, and many picked up the phone to personally congratulate me for starting something that focuses more on their human side rather than on professional one. Soulful Conversations will help the viewers understand the person behind the lawyer. All of you will meet the who's who of legal world, with the only twist, we won't be discussing anything legal with them today. Then what are we going to talk about? We will talk about what strengths, their core as a person. What are their strengths? We will look beyond their professional accolades, awards, wins, or any other conventional measure of success. We would aim to understand values and beliefs that make them true achievers, digging deeper into their persona and exploring their true self. I will encourage my guests to introspect, look within, and speak their inner voice. I'm super excited about getting on this unique journey of knowing more about these stalwarts, which is not there out in the open as of now. And I'm sure all of you are as excited as I am to uncover what goes into making of an icon. I'm also pleased to share that Bar and Bench, a renowned online platform, has happily come on board as our media partner for this initiative and will be the official telecast partner of Soulful Conversations with Bitika Anand. And on this soulful note, I'm pleased to welcome Mr. Atul Sharma. Yes, sir. So how do you feel today, talking not legal, not law with us today?
Bitika, I must confess that I'm a rather media shy person. And when you approached me, my first reaction was, I should not get onto this.
Oh.
But then when I had further conversations with you, I realized that it is more about others. It is not because I genuinely believe that I'm not a stalwart. I mean, let's put that record straight.
We feel that. You don't, we feel that. So that's fine.
There's a long way to go still. But thank you for having me on this. And I hope I will not disappoint you when it comes to my own self and, my journey. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm going to just briefly introduce you to the audience. Mr. Atul Sharma is the managing partner of Link Legal, and he has 4 decades of experience in project advisory, corporate litigation, mediation, arbitration, aviation, projects and infrastructure, and also business restructuring, employee law, real estate, hospitality, and commercial transactions. So Atul, this makes you an icon anyway. So many things you are an expert as. Considered a deep thinker for his strategic capabilities, knowledge, and vast experience across industry verticals, he has been invited to speak on many complex legal issues at national and international fora, and was also a former regional president of the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce and former chairman of its Even Infrastructure Committee. Respected for his strategy, he is widely recognized, ranked, and awarded by global legal directories as a leading dispute, infrastructure, and aviation lawyer. His clients appreciate his solution-oriented approach, sound technical knowledge, and business acumen, very, very important when you give legal advice. Prominent global publications like Chambers and Partners, the Legal 500, Asia Profiles, IFLR 1000, IBLJ, benchmark litigation, and Asian legal business have consistently recognized him in topmost bands and tiers. Atul Sharma lives in a suburb of Delhi and is a regular golfer. So some personal things we are already knowing right now. He has keen interest in Urdu and Hindi literary works and is fond of old Hindi film music. So a bit we know about you, but we have lots to know, and lots that we expect you to share with us. So Atul, you in your long journey of 4 decades, so what have your moments, where maybe things were a little tough, or and on the other side, what were those moments where things were really, really good, and why did those moments happen in your life, and how did you progress once you experienced those moments?
Thank you, Bitika. Those were very kind words, and I'm sure I don't deserve all of that. But nevertheless, I have, by a quirk of fate, you call it a quirk of fate, or some stint at my end, that I have been able to set up a firm and take it to whatever we have taken it to. I come from a very middle-class, old Delhi background. Now, one moment, and I would not go more in the background, I'll straight away answer the question. One experience which I believe is very critical, has been very critical in my life, and in my view, it holds good for a lot of young lawyers, is your ability to be an entrepreneur.
To be an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur.
Yes, correct.
And when I was working with Mr. Bhasin in Bhasin and Company, it was of course, we were fortunate in certain respects that I was living in near the university in Delhi, and we had our own house. It was a joint family, so at least food and shelter was taken care of.
Okay.
So I really started thinking about taking a risk for no good reason. In fact, I decided to be on my own I think it was in the year 1993, or maybe 96. So, and that's when, I decided to be on my own. And that was a moment, which really gave me that confidence. In fact, I had a friend of mine who was into construction industry. He had an office in South Delhi. I requested him to give me a small space in his place. And that's where I started from. And, the biggest kick was that, third day I got a call from an established business house that they wanted to engage me. So it is that moment which I believe was the turning point in my career. Apart from a lot of small achievements which I got into my earlier avatar. So right. I would say that ability to take that risk at that point in time worked well. And that is something, because when a young lawyer today comes and says, I want to leave the firm, right? Now, my first reaction is that, what are you going to do?
Right.
And when I find that, they're looking for the comfort, of course, everybody has his own circumstances. I mean, I should not prejudge any decision of any of my past colleagues or present colleagues. But when they come to you and the reaction is that I want to take it easy. I don't want to fight the life. And so my instinct is, I would be the happiest if you can set up your own practice and be a lawyer in your own right. So that's the way I am, because that's the way I came.
But you're right, but because everybody is not an entrepreneur and they don't like to take that risk, the risk you took to start your firm. Otherwise, even till today, you would be just working for another law firm, So you're right. So, but there are not many lawyers who also want to take that risk and start their own firm. But rightfully said, we all kind of shirk the hard work and the challenges and everything that goes with it. But the reward is also very, very nice. So when you had that moment, like you said, that moment to start on your own, what did you think at that time? Other than, that you are ready to take the risk. what made you, think that you are now ready to start on your own and that you don't want to be in another law firm working? What was that thought?
No, no. I mean, frankly, I must confess, I didn't think a lot.
Oh,
I thought at that moment that one time has come that you be on your own, try to create something. And it was, if I had continued to think, probably I wouldn't have taken a decision at that point in time.
that's also a very interesting observation, because people who think so much about what is going to happen or never plunge, never take that decision to start on their own. Okay, so what is it that motivates you the most? What are you very passionate about today, both professionally as well as personally?
No, I mean, to any professional, not only a lawyer, one thing which will motivate is a success story. And a success story, be it any field, not only in the firm, in the field of law firm practice, but today, if you see, people coming from rural backgrounds in sports, they're doing so well. And these are the success stories which always motivate you to think that if, a person with such limitations and such handicaps can achieve what they have achieved, we are very really privileged and endowed in many aspects. And I think, why not us? So that is something, which really motivates me. And then what motivates me further is the fact that we are in a position to create careers, create leaders.
Right.
And so that is one motivation. In fact, I always take pride in fact that, look, whatever success I have achieved or I'm likely to achieve or might achieve in my lifetime, the biggest achievement would be if you can create anything between 500 to 1,000 good lawyers and careers. I think you have done your bit so far as not only the profession is concerned, but also the generally at a social level.
Yes, correct. So, giving focus to people, kind of, guiding them, mentoring them. I think that also, like you say, it motivates you as a person. And who are the people who have influenced you during your journey of your life?
It is difficult to of course pinpoint, but I think there'll be 2 or 3 personalities who have molded my approach. It is not necessary that these people come in your life or came in my life after I got into the profession. In fact, much prior to getting into even college, I had certain influences which really led me to improve my personality. I give you a simple illustration. We used to have, when I was in school, there were 2 people who had a very critical role in bringing out the real capability of being confident, being to converse, to present. When I was in 7th standard, I had this teacher, Mr. B.D. Mehta, who used to teach social studies. And social studies those days was only civics. It was all about parliament, municipal bodies, and the like. He used to teach us in the form of parliament. He never taught us in a classroom method. And when he realized that, there were certain students like me who were shy, not opening up to speak up, he made sure that he gave us positions, and he made me the prime minister in that parliament. And imagine what a high it was. It gave me so much of confidence to, answer questions, do research. That is one personality. The second personality was a very well-known theater actor and a director, B.V. Karant. He used to teach us Hindi and Sanskrit. He gave me such opportunities. And today, the gift of gab, when I get up into a courtroom and I start speaking, the clarity of my speech, of each word, I owe it to him, because he used to, teach us in the dramatic session that ability to communicate right until the last row in the auditorium. Because unlike films in theater, you don't have an opportunity to, improve or improvise or improve your communication. Once you're communicating, so what angle you are standing at, what pitch and how you modulate your voice, and how crystal clear. He told me that, if you say I am standing, is different from I am standing. So that's the distinction. The third person, when I joined the career, who molded my thought process and approach to the profession was the late Justice Arun Saharia. When I joined his chambers, I realized that, what is the value of methodology. So what I looked at, what I was taught, there's a first principle of approaching a problem was creating a method statement. And, the sequential approach to the problem, and that has kept me in very good stead even today.
Very nice. Very interesting. So you've been the managing partner of Link Legal. You founded the firm many, many years back. So today, as a managing partner, what is your experience in your firm? Like when it comes to challenges, or when it comes to, your role, obviously we all know what managing partners do, but each firm, I find myself personally, the role of a managing partner sometimes differs. So what is it that you give importance in your role as a managing partner?
Yeah, but before getting on to that, I must go back to the last question. There's one acknowledgement which I have forgotten.
Sorry. Okay.
And that acknowledgement is of the family. See, this is a very tough profession. I can never forget a statement made by Mr. Nariman, Pali Nariman, that this is not a profession for the chicken-hearted. And the family has a large role to play. I can never forget when I had two small kids, my wife was having major problem with her back, and she was to consult a doctor. And those days we had those rickety ambassadors, and I point blank told her that, look, I can't help it. I have a matter in the High Court. And she was holding on to the door because the door was not functioning well. She was holding on to the door. She went to the doctor and got herself treated. So these are small instances which keep you, kind of reminding you that everybody else within your ecosystem also has a role to play.
Yeah.
And of course, my younger sons, both the sons who are always, ever criticizing in a constructive way, my great daughter-in-laws who are kind of, or ever efficient and most reliable when it comes to family matters. And of course, my stress busters, my two grandchildren. So that is something I wanted to go back to before we go to the next question.
So when we come to that, conversation on your, what you do after office, so maybe they will come in it. Yeah. Yeah. So now going back, of course, fantastic, because I think not many have mentioned their families. Some have, but not many have mentioned their families playing a big role, and influencing your growing as a lawyer, or, helping you grow your law firm. So now that you have been managing a law firm, for a long time as a managing partner, so what do you think is the most important part that you play in your law firm?
Well, of course, your roles keep on changing as you grow in the profession.
Yes, as you grow the firm, correct.
So, as your own professional improvements lead to your change of your role, I have, of course, until a point in time, I used to draft petitions, right? Today, I don't. So that's a distinction, because I don't have, and I have a great set of colleagues in my partners and associates who are doing a wonderful job. So today, my preferred role is, of course, management of the firm and institutionalization of the practice. That is first and foremost. The second is mentoring. And third is, of course, advocacy, which is very dear to my heart. Okay. My adrenaline is going to the courtroom or in a tribunal, in an arbitration, and making my submissions. So this is broadly, I would say, my role today is in 3 buckets, and I'm really enjoying each one of them.
Any challenge you can share with us?
Challenges?
Any challenge, any one challenge, probably not, but I'm sure there are. And for all there is, so.
Now, challenges are always there, but one challenge which I believe is an outcome of the growth of the law firm culture in India in a very short period of 20 years. So what the West achieved, the law firm culture came into India only about 30 years ago, right? We only had in Bombay 5 or 6. Bombay had much more because they had a dual system. Delhi had only just 2, 3 firms, and then over time they also disintegrated. But this whole evolution in the West took almost about 200 to 300 years.
Correct.
In India, it has taken in about 30 years. And I must say that within these 30 years, large number of Indian firms have done wonderfully well. I mean, not only ours, but there are a large number of firms. You have best professionals who have given their lives to the law firms. They have set up fantastic systems. But what problem I see is, I'll give a simple illustration. In the West, which was the precursor for the law firm culture, we had only an associate, a senior associate, and a partner.
Correct.
Now we're so driven by our designations in this country. So you have ended up at associate, senior associate, principal associate, associate partner, and then the managing partner. So I think that is a challenge which you see the problem, and it is not, I don't blame the younger lawyers today for that. I think the whole ecosystem has changed. And to an extent, it is the culture within the families which has become, how you are faring vis-a-vis your peer. So it is kind of a competition at the wrong place. That is the only challenge which I feel needs to be addressed. Sometimes I'm minded to make, raise an internal issue that why don't we all write advocates rather than just writing your designation.
I remember this many firms, and we were being consulted also. There was a huge issue that a lot of firms just had advocates. So I think the whole thing of designation started to motivate them to look forward to the new thing and to keep them in the system, so these designations were created. So what do you find with the new generation lawyers? How do you think they are adjusting in law firms? How are they different from, lawyers who probably became lawyers 10 years back or 15 years back? The new generation lawyers, the new age lawyers.
No, they are far, far intelligent, far sharp, far focused. Of course, you will always find a mix, some may be less focused, some may be more. And more importantly, they don't think that this is the end all and be all of life.
Yes.
They have their own personality, they have their own pursuits, they have their own likes, they have their own hobbies. And that is something which makes them different, because we didn't have the opportunity in our younger days to think on those lines. Apart from the exposure that the younger generation gets, we never thought that, we want to do A, B, C, D. So we did whatever came our way because we had little options. Today, there are huge opportunities. They're very intelligent. The only virtue which I would be looking into in them is patience. I think, I can never forget a very old friend, a client of mine who became a friend, said that in every situation where you feel that you're going to react, if you count 10, the problem is solved before reacting.
Yes, that's so true.
That patience is something which we need to inculcate amongst the youngsters, because there will always be anomalies in the system. Somebody will feel that I have not been properly treated. But then if you think that, look, I have a larger vision, now I will ensure that whatever my shortcoming has been brought out, I make sure I overcome that and I prove the HR wrong. I'll prove the senior wrong. That fire, comes from patience.
Yeah, correct. And also, I think this new generation have a lot more opportunities, like to what 20 years back was there. The whole environment has changed. The way you do things have changed. So I think they also are maybe less patient because they want to experience much more in a short period of time,
Yeah.
So yeah, so that is also. So if you were not a lawyer, what would you be?
I don't know. I don't have an answer, Bitika, because the way I became a lawyer, not because I let me say very candidly, I didn't become a lawyer because I wanted to become a great lawyer or I wanted to be a lawyer. I was never good in my studies. I did honors in economics and I didn't do very well. And my father was a lawyer, but I never had the benefit of his practice because I lost him when I was 7 years old. So my mother said that, would you like to do this? So I was a little dejected with my marks and I really thought I wasn't sure whether I get an admission in the law faculty. So very reluctantly, I went to Ghaziabad and I thought I'll take an admission there and do law. But when lo and behold, I came back, got down from that bus number 210 because I was living behind the law faculty virtually. So my bus stopped at the gate of the law faculty. I got down. I said, oh, today the third list was to be out. Let me go and check it. And I checked it. My name was there. It was, I must say, I never thought about, doing anything in particular. I thought I just wanted to make a career in whatever I thought destiny takes me to.
Yeah. So do you think any success in life for anybody, like, not really a lawyer, otherwise also, does it really come from having other attributes, more from other attributes that he has, or he is just a very good expert, technical expert in the area that he's practicing or this thing? Do you think there are any attributes which make you more successful or anybody more successful?
No, I think there are attributes. Of course, competence is only the weightage of competence in a success story would be around, if say 60%. There will be a large number of other components. Of course, forget destiny, the luck, that is all intangible.
Right.
But when it comes to other factors which make your career and make you successful or a failure, are your traits of how you treat people, your humility,
right,
your ability to take downturns. So these are all attributes which ultimately are so critical, because if I may be the most brilliant lawyer on this planet, but if I don't have the ability to use that talent to grow my personality and bring in an overall success in the whole process, it is meaningless. Yeah. So I believe there are a lot of other attributes.
Okay. Now, a bit on the soulful side, because this whole thing is about soulful conversations. So do you believe in spirituality? A lot of people don't believe in religion, but they do believe in it. So what is spirituality to you, if you do think about it or you do believe in it?
Well, I must say that I am not an authority on it, but it is only from my own personal thought process that I would speak. To me, spirituality is not something which exists as an abstract thing. It is not something, what may be spiritual for you may not necessarily be spiritual for me. But yes, as a grund norm, yes, spirituality is something which is good. I mean, you go to their soul, but that is, and more than that, it is also, the way I feel it, what is critical is your philosophy. So philosophy, according to me, spirituality or being religious is something which is a subset of your philosophy. And if your philosophy, which is, say, for example, our Indian way of living, your philosophy is respect your elders, submit to some higher authority at some point in time.
Right.
Not necessarily God. It could be your teachers. It could be your mentors. And be your true self. Be honest, humble, and non-deceitful. If you have these, qualities which are more a philosophy and part of your upbringing, then it reflects in your, whether you are religious or you are soulful. All that is taken care of by this conduct. To me, the basic is your conduct, your thought process about others, and including compassion, for example. So compassion is something which, if you are compassionate, your philosophy is different, and you are bound to be religious,
right,
in some way.
Yeah, very true. So spirituality is, like you rightfully said, is not something this or that, and it's different for different people. But the basic philosophy, the basics of spirituality, I think remains the same for everybody. Like, you have to, if you call yourself spiritual, you cannot be not having those basic, traits or attributes, or following a certain kind of philosophy, right? Okay, so a bit on a lighter side. So is anything you remember from the past, any hilarious, comical anecdote which you still smile at? It could be something foolish, something, you did foolishly also, not realizing it at that time, So if you can share something, that experience with us.
There's an incident. Of course, there are a lot of personalities involved in this. I don't want to name any of the personalities. So I'll narrate it as if I'm narrating the facts of a moot court competition. It's a fact. So it so happened that when I was on my own, I was being regularly instructed by a law firm, right? And one day I got a call from a lawyer and saying that, a very renowned senior advocate of those days wanted to meet me, because I'd known him, I'd known the family for a long time. We used to instruct him. So he says he is invited you for dinner. I thought it's a dinner for 30, 40 people. I didn't go. The next day, I get a call from the same gentleman, and he says that so-and-so was waiting for you, and you didn't turn up. So was there an issue? So I told him, I said, look, I thought that it was a general dinner, and I said, all right, I'll come and meet him. So in the evening, I went to meet him. When I met him, he looked at my face. Of course, he knew me by my first name, and we'd known each other for a long time. So he says, how are you? So, aap kaise aaye? So I said, you'd invited me yesterday. I've come to apologize that I didn't come. We all had a good laugh, because what had happened was that there was this gentleman who was also a lawyer in that firm which used to instruct me, who had the same name as me.
Oh. Okay, so there's a name thing.
And this senior advocate was very keen to arrange a match for him for
For that, Atul Sharma.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank God I didn't land up on the previous day.
Yeah, so there would be probably 2 Atul Sharma sitting there. Yeah, very interesting. So what are your general, obviously we know you are a regular golfer and you have interest in Urdu and you like old Hindi. So what are you otherwise? I mean, other than these, any of these you have, or when you go back home, or there are certain days in a week that you devote your time on certain hobbies that you have, or certain things which are not obviously related to
I think my hands are full by and large, not only from professional perspective, but I mean, the fact that I'm doing a lot of initiatives internally within the firm for the transition into the next gen, 5 years, 10 years from now. So, but I used to play tennis, but with age, I have migrated to golf. I do enjoy watching, that is the Delhi 6 syndrome in me, because I am from old Delhi. So I do like to watch, anything to do with nostalgia, old Delhi, and of course I read a little bit of Shari. I'm not very proficient at Farsi, so that is a big limitation to me. I love listening to movie songs, and of course, the current ones, the amount of talent that we have seen in the music world in the last 10, 15 years is amazing. But then, I mean, it is just that we have an element of loyalty or identification. But notwithstanding that, I do listen to current music as well. And of course, family time is outstanding. I mean, that's the biggest value.
So do you work on weekends?
No, not for the last about 2 years. Maybe a meeting or off, but because the virtual mode has really helped. So you can just have 1 or 2 meetings on
anytime, from anywhere.
But I avoid working on weekends. But of course, you'll always have one Saturday a month when you will have some admin issues or some meetings, practice area reviews, and that kind of stuff. So that will obviously. I mean, there is little you can do about it because so many people are taking out time from their schedules on weekends. But I avoid working on weekends.
All right. So maybe towards the end of our conversation, I just want to know what makes you happy? What gives you joy in life?
I think what gives me joy is achieving milestones, which I've set for myself. And that joy is not only material. It is not material. What gives me joy is, first of all, identifying my own limits in terms of all my financial needs. Once I have put those behind, I have a focus which is in relation to others. So what really gives me a kick is being innovative. I'm in many ways, when we are discussing new initiatives, whether at home, it could also be in relation to doing up a room in the house, but also within the firm. In many ways, in fact, a senior advocate, when he got into a conversation with me about a month and a half ago about all the initiatives that we wanted to do, and how I believe that I can bring in a change in the lives of a lot of youngsters. He said, "You're a kid in the candy shop." So that's the kind of an excitement.
So you still get excited, on these new things that you want to do.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm thinking at this age, a lot of people lose their motivation, and they said, we've done it all, we've achieved it all. There is really nothing much left for us to do at a certain age. It's very exciting. So you're still kind of excited about new things that, you would like to do, whether at home or in your firm. So is there anything, so of course, this is one of our parting conversations, and I hope we can have many more with you. So this is just a start. So is there any message, or not really a message, anything you want to say to either managing partners of law firms or partners of law firms or lawyers, or generally to people,
I don't know, I can preach to a lot of my colleagues within the law firm community. Many of them have done wonderful jobs. They have created institutions. The only thing I think we can do, if we can have more exchanges, something which I don't know if you want to take an initiative of that kind, why don't have a forum of senior partners?
Okay.
Exchange information, discussions. It may be, a lot of it, because let's not just look at each other as adversaries,
right?
Competitors. If we can get a culture wherein we interact much more, right. Because that will give us a completely different perspective. Because at the end of the day, it's the same family. I mean, right. Somebody moves from my firm to another firm, or comes from another firm to my firm. I think we have got over that stage that we felt insecure about it.
Correct.
Every managing partner of a law firm in this country has achieved that status, or every senior partner. So if we can have a more interactive forum, that will be a great thing. And of course, what I believe is also critical is, trying to inculcate, apart from the best international practice, most ethical practices, because that is something which I find Because I have resigned to the fact that we are not in a profession, we are in a business. So having done that, which I used to say until about 5 years ago, that we are still professionals, we are advocates. Well, I have resigned and I've said we are into business, and there is
Yeah.
But as a collective initiative of the law firm community, we can have certain initiatives relating to either ethics or training kind of, or inculcating something amongst the youngsters, because I mean, all our generation, there are large number of people within my age group who have done wonderful job. We can get together and probably much more interaction will help.
Yeah, definitely. There'll be huge learnings from each other and huge sharing of experiences, and sometimes you do have issues, and maybe that other managing partner has also had that issue and how he resolved it, and you're just racking your brains as to how to do it, so obviously it's I think it's a wonderful idea to get lawyers to meet, but they have to forget about the competitiveness, about their egos, about many other things, to come together as a forum, to discuss things. But a very, very good idea. Let us see if we can attempt it a bit. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Atul, for coming on this, and thank God you decided to come on it and not decided not to participate. So it was really, really wonderful to have you, and absolutely a delight to have you on this.
Thank you, Bitika. Thank you so much. And I hope I lived up to your expectations, and I have talked more about others than myself.
We just want people to be themselves. We want people to say what they have really, whatever the experiences are, other than just this, law infrastructure where you make these contracts and how the contracts have to be made, and all that technical part of law. We discuss enough. We've never had the chance to know the lawyer, and even today, even in these soulful conversations that we are having, there is a bit of hesitation. There is a bit of people, but I'm still happy that at least we could start the initiative, of getting to know them as a person, behind the lawyers. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.